Morning, how are you? I like the design on your shirt there.
Oh, well, thank you.
Is it a copyright brand? What are you advertising? What is that? Ah, you got the golden ratio in there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's a golden ratio. That's exactly what it is. So I have a question about your sign.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what is that. I don't know what exactly you're doing there.
I am going to collect testimony from those that were vaccine injured and perhaps those who have family members that died as a result of taking a rushed, unnecessary, dangerous vaccine that wasn't a vaccine at all.
Okay.
So my search is for justice.
Okay.
And truth.
So how many people that were hurt from the vaccine? And we're talking about COVID, I assume.
Yes, particularly yes. That is a very good question. That's something that has to be determined. You know, if 80% of the population, 18 and over, took the vaccine as the government claims, geez,
so
millions.
So here's a question.
Sure.
Where if millions of people were injured, where is that? I mean, that would be pretty well understood somewhere. So yeah, I'm asking like where do you have it? So here's
and look.
Okay.
You asked the question. There's your answers.
So where exactly? Because when there's an injury, and somebody is injured in a vaccine, they have things called adverse events.
Yes.
That they track them.
Correct.
And those are built. And as far as I know, I mean, I wouldn't say that there aren't adverse events.
And that type of thing.
Yeah, there are adverse events, but they have not. I don't think that there are extreme number of them, to my knowledge.
That is 31,000 deaths associated immediately with it. It represents
31,000 deaths.
It represents 1/1,000 of the 31 million people who had died inexplicably between 2021 and 2022.
Okay, and what is the evidence to show that those were vaccine related?
There it is.
I can't like read the whole time.
I understand.
And
Take
what
some
I'm
time
looking
to peruse.
So okay.
You also know the name of the book.
So here's
how these guys are all the articles. These are all QR codes directly to the link if it's still up. Okay.
So
your questions have answers.
Okay. I think. Well, here's. I frankly, to go through and look at that, I can't look at that and make an educated decision about it.
I don't want you to make an immediate assessment. I want you to take time.
And so, and I guess here's where I come from in my background.
Sure.
I have a bachelor's in medical microbiology.
Nice. Do you work at the lab?
I work at GSK.
Oh, okay.
And we don't make COVID vaccine, but we make adjuvants that are used in vaccines.
Right.
And while I would not pretend to know everything about COVID vaccine, I know a lot about vaccines.
Okay.
And I would ask, I guess my question is how many people died of COVID and how many people were injured against it? Because whenever you look at these things, you have to, like with anything, if you look at the best vaccine out there, the perfect, like polio, for example, like one of the best vaccines out there, almost every single vaccine you can find an adverse case, but you can also find, basically in the case of polio, millions of people's lives saved. So I guess my question is,
you can't make that claim.
Why can't I?
How can you possibly prove that it was the polio vaccine that saved all these lives? How can you prove that?
Well, you can trend the occurrence of polio, and then you can show a massive decrease. You can show resistance that when you take that vaccine, that it actually prevents that disease from occurring. And look at, for example, measles, mumps, and rubella. It's been around for half a century. It never occurred until people stopped taking the vaccine.
Until they stopped taking the vaccine.
Yeah, it was basically a statement. Okay, let's put it in perspective.
Okay.
Almost never occurred, like down to less than 0 fractions of a percent of the population.
I see. And that's your belief? Do you have some sort of data to back that up?
Yeah, you can look on NIH data. They trend it.
Yeah. What if I don't trust their data? What if
you can look at
because of their crimes, I don't trust
how many people do you know that have measles?
0.
Rubella.
0. That's your evidence?
I'm asking
you. Know why
like,
I carry tiger repellent in my pocket? Do you see any tigers around here?
See, my assertion is that vaccines are a victim of their own success. They are so effective that the problems that were historically documented, like measles, mumps, rubella, children born and killed, children born with deformities, they don't happen anymore. And people don't believe that that has ever happened, that it'll never happen.
You're making claims, my friend.
It's a matter of historical record.
I think you believe that.
It's actually, no, it's a matter of historical
Are you willing to
record.
peruse this for a few minutes? The data's in there. There are answers to your questions right here.
So here's a question. If I look at that, my question, and I gave you a link to a NIH database that basically has statistical tracking of this going back decades, why would you not believe it?
Well, genuine distrust for governmental authority. That would be my basis. That, and did you really participate in that PSYOP that went on? Were you cheering for masks and lockdowns and vaccines and concentration camps for the unvaccinated?
Concentration camps for
You
the
didn't see that?
unvaccinated?
They were floating that idea, and 40% of the people polled said, yeah, we should take these people and put them in a camp until they take the vaccine.
So
that's
some
a
people
crime.
thought something, and then but they never did it. And
I think what we're going to do is have a stupid argument, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
What I prefer to do, look at the data.
Okay.
You're a data guy.
Okay. So let's see, COVID-19 deaths before and after mass vaccination program in Thailand. And so where is that coming from? Johns Hopkins University Coronavirus Resource Center. So let's look at that.
Please,
Okay.
here you go.
All right. Let's see here. So is there a link to this, to where this data comes from?
I'm
That
sure
I can look it
a
up?
clever man could use some keywords to find it. But there are links, and there are QR codes in there. Oh, no. Cheap batteries.
Let's see.
Oh, well.
So I can find it. Let's see. That is. It's asking me to sign into everything in one of these. And when I'm looking up Johns Hopkins University. So let's see here. I am not able to
Well, let me
find
scan
it.
with you, and maybe we can find it.
But,
Because you're asking a valid question. The fact that you're taking time to hang out here is fine. There's a couple of QR codes. Pop that one and see if it takes you where you want to go.
Okay. Daily new deaths in South Korea. This is deaths per day. Okay. And can I ask a question? Which vaccine did they use?
Can I tell you the answer to that?
Well, there were 3 vaccines used in the U.S. and
Right.
then there were several different vaccines used in China and and
There was
Asia.
what, Sinovac and
Yeah.
Sputnik and all these amazing, amazing technologies. When you ask me a question, can I give you that honest answer? And if you had that answer, would it change your opinion?
I'm asking the question because I don't know.
I hear
I don't
you.
know if
I
it
hear
would.
you.
Can
You hit that QR code with your
Yeah.
phone?
Yeah, I did.
Maybe. Okay. So let's see exactly what it is that it's detailing.
So, okay, it's asking me to use an app. Over time, a link to the source may be changed. 20-year-old. So, I do not want to use this app. Let's see. Sudden deaths in 2021.
Time a link to a source machine. So this is the code that I'm getting. So do you see now? Can you show me where this where I
the
should
graphs
go?
are? Yeah, let's find out. These are all media data stuff. Deployment. Yeah, let's try that one.
All right. So South Korea urges rapid administration of booster shots against COVID-19. South Korea President Moon urged a rapid administration of booster shots against COVID-19 as the eased antivirus rules raise the number of severe cases and deaths. So okay, so the piece that you're saying here, this is
what was the date? What was the date of that article or the PDF?
It was 11/29/2021.
Okay, there.
Okay. So I'm still. So this is the.
That is the claim.
Okay.
Can you refute it?
Well, yeah,
Can
I
I support it?
No.
How can you refute it?
Okay. This is an article saying that you're doing booster shots. You have a graph, and I'm asking where the data is, and so you have, and you link me to an article saying that they're asking for booster shots. That tells me that there was a article for a booster shot.
What we did was scan the QR code.
Yeah.
And what you asked me to do was pick an article related to the graph.
Oh, okay.
That's what happened.
Okay.
That's verifiable.
Sure.
And now that we have this data, if this data is true, what would it tell you? Assume for the sake of argument that the data is true. What would it mean?
I would say that there's been an increase in deaths per day. Now here's a question. How many deaths are normally happening per day?
Isn't it like 20,000 deaths across the United States every day?
And so this
That's
is
normal, right?
And so this is where your graph says deaths per day.
Right.
So okay, deaths per day.
I want to clarify your language. My graph?
Well, when
did I compile
I
this?
come from a scientific background. Yeah, this is what you're presenting to me, and by my I mean what you're giving to me as data. And so
That's correct, and I understand you're coming from a scientific background.
And so
that's
correlation,
great.
and so understand that
science.
correlation does not mean causation.
Can you have causation without correlation?
I mean, you can look at it, but so what I'm asking is, you're saying that there's a graph of deaths. What else? And you're saying that they're because of COVID vaccines.
That would be the claim.
So now you've established that they asked booster
That's my
shots.
claim, and now you want me to substantiate this claim.
Yes.
I offer you this book with all of this information.
I'm going through it point by point.
Well, hold on. At which point, I agree. At which point, you're the one that's going to have to teach and convince yourself that this is the case. They call it doing your own research. Remember, that was prohibited during COVID.
When I approach something,
so CDC
I don't
Director
assume...
Dr. Rochelle Walensky comes down with COVID a month after her booster shot. First on CNN, Jill Biden tests positive for rebound case of COVID-19. Fully vaccinated, double boosted, Dr. Fauci has COVID. Was the vaccine effective? A victim of its own success?
It was very effective.
How many boosters have you had?
4.
4 boosters in addition to the initial, or 4 total?
I don't remember exactly, but I've had probably 4 shots. I had the initial,
4 shots total,
and then I've had
the 2, and then 2 after that.
It might have been 3. It might have been 4.
Well, that's fine.
I don't remember exactly.
We are now up to, I believe, 12. Why have you stopped updating?
I haven't. I've done maybe once a year.
Hold on. It's every 4 months. They want you to update.
Yeah.
There are 12 boosters, I believe, at this point.
Yeah.
Definitely 11. Why have you stopped taking them?
I've taken it once or twice, and it's gone down quite a bit.
That statement doesn't make any sense to me. You've taken it once or twice. You said you took 4 or 5.
Yeah, okay.
And then you said it's gone down quite a bit.
Oh.
What has gone down?
So let me ask, when we started this, we were saying that there is a correlation between the
vaccine
COVID
and death and illness.
Vaccines.
That's
and
right.
So,
you know who Dr. Peter McCullough is?
I don't think I know exactly.
Dr. Peter McCullough, renowned cardiologist out of Texas. He's one of the most peer-reviewed cardiologists in the nation. He has over 500 peer-reviewed papers.
Okay.
2 months ago, at most, he testified before Congress that 74% of COVID deaths were because of the vaccine. What are your thoughts on his statement?
I think that I would need to understand more about that statement.
I think that's a
when
great
you say
point.
that 74% deaths are because of a COVID vaccine.
Well, I didn't say that. Dr. Peter McCullough says this.
Sure.
Before Congress, under oath.
Yes.
So he is testifying to his absolute belief, regardless of whether or not you agree. Now, if you want to take on his expertise, you can't do it through me.
I understand.
Okay.
But when somebody says, so I'm trying to take it seriously.
I appreciate it.
And so when I look at that and I'm trying to assess the information of that statement, there's a lot of percentages, and so when you look at that, and so when you have to say like, okay, there's the percentages of deaths are 74 percentages. Now let's talk about the percentage of that. What I'm saying is I have to understand what he's actually saying.
I'm gonna read a statement. And
yeah.
The CDC director last year said that if we vaccinate 1 million children, there might be 30 or 40 cases of mild myocarditis. And they said, if you get myocarditis from COVID, that's worse or happens at a higher rate. But that's not true. The studies have come out. Europe reacted by banning the Moderna vaccine altogether in young people, and many parts of Europe, and everybody under 30. We're now learning that there's a significant rate of heart damage, 31% of people having physical activity restrictions. 63% of children after myocarditis had evidence of heart swelling months down the road on an MRI.
Yeah.
So, we were playing with fire. That is Dr. Marty McCary, Johns Hopkins University.
Okay.
Do you agree with that statement?
I have no idea.
That's a valid response. You have no idea. This is the first time you've been introduced to that statement. Is that correct?
It's a statement.
It's a statement.
Yeah.
If you wanted to refute that statement, who's it on?
I would say you would start by looking at the data.
That's what we're doing. I'm trying to show you the data.
So he said that there's studies that basically, but we're kind of bouncing all over.
I know.
Where we're talking about deaths, and now you're talking about side effects. And so I guess
is death not a side effect?
Well, death is one outcome.
Is death a side effect? Okay.
We're talking.
You can't answer that. Why not?
It's not.
If you're talking about myocarditis and pericarditis and stroke, and people die as a result of myocarditis, pericarditis,
That's
stroke,
not what that
neuropathy.
statement said. It said that there were side effects, and that they were.
We were talking about the side effects, and what I was asking you is a side effect? Is death a side effect?
The difference between reduced physical activity and death is pretty extreme.
Agreed. That's a sharp statement. Let's continue to look at the graphs. There's a trend. Keep looking. Hold on. I know you want to reach up.
I tried to look up one of these graphs, and you haven't shown me where this data comes from, and it's kind of telling
Johns Hopkins
that you trust
University.
this data, but you don't trust anyone else's data.
I don't trust somebody that works for GSK and that wants to come up and debate about how they're not culpable for mass murder.
Okay. So here's something that. So you just accused me of being culpable for mass murder because I work for a
company that produces deadly, unnecessary bullshit. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion.
I have the exact opposite opinion.
I know you do.
Believe that I've saved millions of lives.
Isn't that nice? I know you have. You're a hero. You're a hero. You should believe that.
I think that right now this argument is being satirical and it's not being taken seriously. And if you can't take it seriously,
I am taking it seriously.
Then how can I take you? Then how can I take any?
Do you take that serious?
No, I don't.
No, Johns Hopkins University Coronavirus Resource Center.
I can write John Hopkins on something and put it on a graph, and that doesn't make it correct.
Look up.
And I think that most of your stuff is made up.
Fantastic. I think all of your data is made up, and I think GSK is culpable in mass murder.
Let's be clear. What's your background? What do you know about science? What do you know about any of this?
Science?
You don't know anything
about
how this works.
Knowing?
What do you know about viruses? What do you know about the immune system?
Teach me.
How does it work?
Explain it to a 6-year-old.
This is my point. You don't know how it works.
How does it work?
And then you don't
Explain it to me.
Let's start. Do you know what antibodies are?
Yes.
How do antibodies work?
Are you talking about what leukocytes? Are you talking about white blood cells? What are you talking? The bacterial
This
antibodies?
is what I'm saying. You don't even know how it works, and then
So
you're
I'm not
making,
an expert.
and then you're telling me
And
that
therefore
this
I
is
can't
how
have
it's
an
supposed
opinion.
to work. No, you can have an opinion. It's just not an informed one.
I see. I see. Do you think perhaps that you belong to a different cult than I do, and therefore our opinions are going to vary?
I am somebody who has spent most of my life dedicated to a scientific pursuit of understanding how something works.
What is,
And I have a.
what is the
and-
etymological root for the term science? What does it mean? What is the word in Latin, and what does it mean?
Science is a way of understanding and learning how something works.
I agree with that.
Essentially. I don't know.
We
what
agree
the
on
actual
that.
root
Now
of
we've
the
got
word
common
is.
ground. Well, it's sciere, and it means to know. Okay. So if you want to know something, you have to, 1, observe, 2, hypothecate, 3, theorize, and 4, produce that fact that you saw in your observation. Is that the scientific method? Am I wrong? Do you want to
Well,
debate that
sort
on
of.
semantics, or is that the principle?
I don't think that this
So,
is a productive
I agree.
conversation.
Let's
and I
try to
think
make
that-
it productive.
And I think this is my Saturday.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna go.
I
think,
understand.
And I sincerely here's what I would. I try to end with something positive.
Let's do that.
I appreciate that you are passionate about this.
Thank you.
And I actually appreciate that you care about people's health.
I do care about people and their health.
And I think that that is something you and I share.
Yeah,
And
I
think
agree.
That, and I think we go about it differently, but I
Yes.
think that at the same time, I am glad that we were able to talk about it. And I'm sorry that we disagree.
Well,
But,
you know
yeah.
what? Thank you so much for your
Yeah.
time. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Would you,
Yeah.
in your time, come and find me when you have the refutation to these graphs?
I
Can you
honestly,
explain
I
it to
can't
me?
guarantee it.
I know you can't guarantee it, and I'm not going to hold you accountable, but if you wanted to convert me to your cult of medicine, do you think it would be important to be able to rationally explain to me, not by denigrating
Oh,
me?
absolutely. No,
Okay,
here's
okay.
here's something I will agree with you on.
Yeah.
The way that this is done
Was
is archaic.
awful.
Is archaic.
Awful.
Well, no. Well, I'm talking about the communication of it.
Yeah.
The communication of how vaccines work, and it's like anything out there. It is hard to. It is not easy.
No.
To give you some idea, it takes. The only reason the COVID vaccine was able to happen was because there was a template that had been in place for 10 years
Right.
that had already been built.
Right.
And in a protein-based synthesis, you would never be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
With the mRNA vaccines, that is a different type of science and a different type of vaccines. And while it is not perfect, I look at it as something that it is a massive privilege of people today to have access to such a service.
May I make a statement?
Of course.
Okay. September 19th, 2019, Donald Trump signed Executive Order 13887, which was an executive order to modernize flu vaccines. What we later came to find out is that we wanted to get away from egg-based production. Okay? Less than a month later, Event 201 was held. Are you familiar with Event 201?
No.
Okay, that's an important thing. I need you to remember Event 201. It was a war game held in 2019 predicting a coronavirus spread around the world and how they were going to handle it. There's video available. 1 week after that, the Milken Institute held a roundtable talk openly on C-SPAN talking about the need for an entity that would allow us to cut through the red tape to put this new mRNA platform on the docket, to make it available to us so we don't have to go through the 10 years of red tape, okay? Those 3 things happened within a month. Within 2 months, now we're watching mass death in China, ostensibly, people being welded in their apartment buildings, rounded up, okay?
Yeah.
In February
Yeah.
of 2020, coronavirus was a hoax, according to President Trump at the time. 1 month later, it was an executive order, an emergency declaration on March 11th, 2020, that began the madness. within a few weeks, he declared that it was May 1st, 2020. Yeah, sorry, May 1st, 2020. He signed the executive order for Operation Warp Speed, in which they were going to fast track the vaccine and deliver it by military means. If you can refute any of what I've just told you, I want to know.
I'm listening.
So if you
I'm not.
can you put those breadcrumbs together? Do you see that it was a military operation meant to put the world into fear? How many trillions of dollars did our government create in March of 2020?
So
4 trillion.
Let me make sure I understood what you said, and maybe
Okay,
this
fair
is
enough.
how I understood.
Yes, sir. That's fine.
You're saying that you're relaying the development of the basically the order to basically try to find a vaccine or build a vaccine with
mRNA is the platform.
with mRNA, and yeah, so there were actually a lot of other ones too.
I'm sure. That's fine.
There were like, and most of those failed.
But that doesn't.
Yeah.
Most of them failed.
Yeah.
And then we fast-tracked one that we said was going to work, but
Well,
didn't.
no, that's the whole point of trials. You see if they work, and then you get rid of the ones that don't work.
Do you think we should do a mass trial like we did?
Like
Do
we
you
did
think,
with
like,
on the
yeah.
mRNA vaccine? Yeah.
You think that's okay? You think that's acceptable to
We did
put people into
we
fear
did
and dose
clinical
up
trials.
70% or
We did
80%?
clinical trials on mRNA vaccines.
And what did they show?
Showed that it worked.
No.
97, 98% effective on the original strain of coronavirus.
Uh-huh.
Now, to be fair, this is where people sometimes misunderstand. Viruses mutate and
Right.
they change.
Sure.
And so the original strain, the original vaccine,
mRNA.
and then it was one of the best vaccines that
Viruses,
at the time.
as we know them, and correct me if I'm wrong, are RNA. That is to say, they are.
There's
it
actually
is
multiple types
Okay.
of vaccines, but if we're talking
no,
about
I'm not talking about
coronavirus-
vaccines, and I'm not.
Oh.
I'm talking about the virus itself. Is a virome RNA?
There are multiple types of viruses, and they have different types of genomes. So, like, some are mRNA, some are DNA, and it depends on the specific.
But essentially, it's a
virus that you're looking at.
nucleopeptide chain that's able to send programming into a cell and replicate itself. Is that correct?
Yeah, and yeah, generally, yeah.
Uh-huh. And the idea behind inoculation is to program the immune response to recognize these RNA proteins as a pathogen and eliminate them.
So what the mRNA COVID vaccine does is it provides mRNA for antibodies, and those antibodies, and so basically,
Tell me the different types of antibodies. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Sorry. We discussed leukocytes briefly for a moment. What other antibodies should I know about?
There's several different types of antibodies. So let's talk about and they're basically depending on the different places of your body. For example, like in your nose versus in your bloodstream versus in like your intestine, and they are like IgM, IgA, IgG, and so you go through different structures, and these are different protein structures of antibodies. And essentially what they do is they help promote a pathway for optimization for the immune system. And they basically form the humoral response, which basically builds a response. Your body basically responds to a pathogen, and it helps to destroy it.
Okay.
And so it is one of the best ways to get rid of diseases.
I understand you believe that. Is it okay if I disagree?
Of course, you can say what you want.
Do you think it's okay the way that me and my cohorts were treated in 21 and 2?
So let's stick to the point though.
Okay.
What do you disagree about what I said there?
I don't. A moment ago about antibodies, I don't.
What do you think? How do you think it works?
Well, as far as I understand, and to the best of my studies, the immune system is a bacterial response to a pathogen that is able to eliminate it. Is that correct? Is my immune system composed of healthy bacteria?
What I think you're referring to is natural flora. So
Yes,
there
I'm
is
definitely
essentially-
referring to natural flora.
So what you are basically referring to is the competition. When you look at microorganisms, if something else is already there,
Yeah, right.
our natural flora may outcompete
We want
something
it. Right.
other
Right.
Dangerous disease.
There's a few articles I'd like to give you. If you want to take the time to read them, that's up to you.
Okay.
There's a few conflicts of interest that I think are well
can
detailed.
tell from what you're saying that
You're not going to agree.
I'm
I
not
understand.
going to agree at all, and that's where I'm kind of. And,
You're stuck.
And
You're stuck in your cult, and that if your cult is disproved, then your
I'm stuck
foundation
in
is
a
gone.
place where we
all
spent
face the
decades,
same dilemma.
and people have dedicated their lives and their work and their to basically understanding these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that you guys have an understanding of what you're talking about. I got to be honest with you, and
That's
I
fine.
think that it's actually and it's not something that I can do in like a 5-minute
I
conversation.
totally agree. I know. It's a very difficult, complex, and large topic.
But to give you an idea, sure, there are multiple ways that your body is an amazing. It is one of the most amazing things out
truly
there.
is.
And,
It truly
and the
is.
way that it can actually defend itself, there are more than one way that it can defend itself.
Yeah.
all over.
Do you think that? Do you think that natural intervention or medical intervention is the best way to promote health
I don't think that when you say natural, define natural.
without medical? That is to say, food and exercise.
For every disease out there.
What I'm asking is, if I want to prevent disease,
I mean, it's
what is
just
my
it's
best
very
method?
general. Like, I mean,
It is a very
like,
general
to
question. I'm
say,
looking
like,
for a principle that we can agree on.
I guess I don't think I can agree because I don't agree with the way you're framing the question.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. Yes, you should let your body naturally work, but you should also facilitate it working naturally to the best of its capability. And here's the thing. Vaccines, that's actually what they do. They don't fight off the virus. They give you the blueprints for how to fight it. And then they fight it, and then your body suddenly has everything ready to fight it, and it never even gets a foothold.
So why are people dying of COVID still?
I don't think that they're perfect, but
Well,
they're.
no.
But I
They're
would say that,
certainly not.
and
What is the efficacy of our most current booster? know
I
you didn't
honestly
take
don't
it.
know.
You
I
don't
haven't
know.
looked at the
What
most
was the
current one.
efficacy of the initial 3-shot regimen?
Oh, it was like 96, 95%. It was way
That
up
was
there.
the advertisement. We all understand that.
But also, you have to understand the way it works. We're talking about like prevention of death. There's different levels. There's different ways that you define efficacy.
Right. Yeah, we definitely had to redefine what a vaccine was in the last 5 years, didn't we?
I'm gonna go.
All right, brother. Have a good day. I like your shirt.